your children will die. Your bloodline will die when you die. Your bloodline will die when you die. You will live longer than anyone in your family, but when you die, they will also die. That's the deal. So the sister is like, well, I don't have any children. It's up to my brother. Brother says, done deal. Sign me up. Sister's like, okay, I'll do it too. They walk out of the cafe disappears. It's like an illusion. So time passes, and he becomes very rich, becomes CEO, she becomes CEO, their prescription drug, it becomes so popular. He even marries a patient who takes the drug, and she is now like the proof the drug works really well. Does that make sense? So he marries a patient, took the drug, and she's doing really well, and she's pain-free, so he also marries her. He has 2 children of his own. He cheats on his wife multiple times, she leaves. And then he has other children too. So total he has 6 children, okay? Each child is invested in the dunya like their father, and the mother, she was a good person, right? Righteous woman, they got divorced. So the children never had a good tarbiyah. They never had a good upbringing, a good raising. Because the father was always thinking about what? Dunya, money, 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 money. Every child of these two, of the brother, 6 children, each and every child was in some form of corruption. Everyone. Yes, they were very rich. They had everything in this life, but they were all in corruption. One child was taking monkeys and stuff and testing on them for human parts. Other child was in drugs. Other child was managing those dance clubs. Other child was doing gossip and each child was doing something horrible. Until the brother became very old. And then it became time for him to die. So when it became time for him to die, this lady, this shaitan, comes back to him and says, how about him, go back to the children first. Takes out each child one by one, boom, boom, boom. First child in the club, they make acid, everybody dies in the club with acid. Second child, they have the testing on the monkeys, the gorillas attack the child. The other child is doing this, that, and so each child is going from what they were doing in this dunya that was hurting people, that is what attacked them. Other child overdosed on taking too many drugs, then overdosed, they killed themselves, overdosing. They killed an animal, that animal came to haunt them and killed them too. Each child became so involved in the dunya because they had no hidayah, they had no guidance, they had no taqwa, they had the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Until there was only a granddaughter left, and the sister from the before, and the brother. That was it. Only 3 are left. All the children eventually are gone. And they're investigating and they're saying, how can each child keep dying? What's going on here? They forgot the deal they made when they were younger, right? And so they're investigating. And this one lady, the shaitan lady, the devil lady, she's in each picture. When they do the camera and the investigation of the hospital scene, of the club scene, there's always that one lady, she's always there, right? And she was always there tempting each part of the family, right? So when she came, after you have 3 people left, you have the granddaughter, and you have the brother, and you have the sister, right? Now, one of the children who was killed, he took his wife home from the hospital, and he was mad at her because he thought she was having an affair. She went to a party without him. Started to torture his wife. So then he was also tortured and he died. But before he died, the granddaughter of the brother, right? The granddaughter calls the police, and he gets the mother of the child to the hospital. Okay. So then the granddaughter goes into her room, and who is sitting on the bed? It's that same devil lady. And she says, I want you to know something. I want you to know that what you did for your mom when you saved her from your dad being abusive, she ends up in the future opening up a nonprofit that stops domestic abuse all over the country and all over the world. And she helps 3 million lives. 3 million lives. And that's all because you helped your mom today. Then the lady takes the little girl's life too. Sister and brother are left. Sister tries to kill the brother because she wants to become CEO of the company. He survives. He tries to kill the sister, right? So now only the brother is left. And ultimately sister kills the brother and they both die, right? The investigator who's on this case from the beginning until the end, he says, I have everything I need in this life. He says, I have myself, my health, my family, and my grandkids. I am the richest person in the world. Before the brother dies, the same devil lady comes to him and says, I want you to look outside of your building. You know the CEOs live in the big tower buildings in like New York City and stuff, right? Look outside your building. And there's bodies that fall, boom, 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 like they're raining bodies. She said, these are all the people that you killed in your life because of your medication that was helping to tell people, but you're actually helping yourself. And you knew the problems with it. Now, why do I bring up this story? The Prophet ﷺ had told us in Sahih Bukhari that if the son of Adam was given a valley of gold, he'd want 2. And if he had 2 valleys of gold, he'd want 3. And want. It's this insatiable desire for our nafs. There is no limitation on what we want in this dunya. It's going to come again and again and again. You want this car, the next day you'll see another car nicer than your car. You want this house, another house comes. This job, another job comes. Again and again and again, right? Allah says, بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَىٰ. You prefer this worldly life, but the afterlife is better and eternal, right? Allah says in Surah Takathur, أَلْهَاكُمُ التَّكَاثُرُ, that the competition in worldly life diverts you. حَتَّى زُرْتُمُ الْمَقَابِرِ, until you end up in your graves. كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. In Arabic, sofa means coming close. It's something that's coming in the future, right? Sa is really close and sofa is in the future. So, كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ, but no, you will surely know. ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَوْفَ تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah repeats it twice. Again, you will surely know. كَلَّا لَوْ تَعْلَمُونَ إِلْمَ الْيَقِينِ. Indeed, if you were to know your fate with certainty, you would have acted differently. Indeed, if you were to know your fate with certainty, you would have acted differently. لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ, but you will surely see the hellfire. ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ. Again, you will surely see with the eye of certainty. ثُمَّ تَسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. That on that day you will be definitely questioned about your worldly pleasures. Why is it that whenever we think about our actions, we think only about the legal consequences of our actions? Legal meaning police, FBI, so forth. But we don't think about Allah's law. We don't think about what our actions are going to do and what Allah is watching and what the angels are recording live. There's live stream right now. The real live stream is the angels on our shoulders who are writing every little thing that's going on. Not every thought, but every word and every action that we're doing. Good or bad, or they're taking account of it. And then there'll be Yawm al-Hisab, the day of account, where we have to answer for all of our deeds. I want you to reflect on the first part of the khutbah today and to ask for forgiveness. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر لي ولكم يا فوز المستغفر استغفر الله. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. When we think about this first part of the khutbah, I know it's a heavy topic, and we reflect on this. We take a moment to reflect on our insatiable nafs, the desires to achieve and to get more and more. But we don't have any ethics, and we don't have a taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Taqwa is the cure for almost anything that you're going through. If you can remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then everything becomes clear and becomes clear, and the right path becomes clear as well. In today's society, whether talking about nationally, locally, globally, there's always things that we can do to be on the right path. That's why we say, how many times a day do we say, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim? How many times a day? I mean, it's a requirement on every single prayer. If you're praying 5 times a day, how many times are you saying, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim? Asking Allah to guide us onto the right path, right? That's why it's so important. Allah wouldn't prescribe something for us if it wasn't constantly bothering us, right? So early Muslims until today, we all have this impetus to stay on the right path because the wrong path is so rampant around us, right? Whether you're a young person, whether you're in college, whether you're a senior, there's always going to be temptations. They don't stop in this life, right? There's a saying from Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, well, that it's like a saying, it's kind of folklore, but it's a saying we have that Shaitan says, comes to Imam Ahmad, says, Ahmad, you have escaped from my grasp. And Ahmad says, no, not until the day I die. Right? So think about what in your life you have to change right now. What pictures or videos are we looking online that we shouldn't be looking on? Who are we texting? Who are we messaging that we shouldn't be messaging right now? Think about, how are we talking to our elders in our families? How are we talking to our children in our families, our wife, our husbands, our parents? How are we talking to our coworkers? All of this is going to be part of the hisab, right? And what's happening right now in the world, all of the war that's happening and destruction and deaths, thinking about what are we doing in our parts, right? People are dying right here in Los Angeles. People are suffering right here in this area. People are being child trafficked, sex trafficked in Orange County. People are suffering all over the world, different parts of the world, in South Asia, in Asia, in the Middle East. What are you doing to help people? Taking your time to do some good. Are you going to be like this brother who spent his entire life focusing on dunya and ending up in the hellfire? Or are you going to be like one of the Sahaba or one of the prophets and live a good, pious, righteous life? Being active on social media, giving in charity, coming to protest, even having social gatherings, but in the social gathering you're having charities, right? Charities for humanitarian relief. There's always good you can do. There's always khair. My cousin, he got married, he had a charity box at his wedding. Allahu Akbar. Like, why don't we have charity boxes at every wedding, right? Sadaqah is part of our deen, right? So I want you to really, really reflect, inshallah ta'ala, on the importance of living a life of taqwa. Because that is the only life worth living. I want you to ask yourself, if you could name 5 people that you look up to in this world. Just think in your head for a moment, 5 people, historically, who are alive today, who died, that lived in this world. Most likely, you're not going to say someone who's very rich. I promise you that. It's not something that's in your mind. Your heart and your soul will first go to someone who's very philanthropic, pious, charitable, right? So it's very, very important, right? The believer should always be in the state of saving themselves and saving their family and their loved ones from the hellfire. The believer should always be in the state of saving themselves and their family and their loved ones from the hellfire. Because the fitna of this world, the fitan of this world is very strong. And we are in a situation where we are minorities, right? A minority faith in a majority Christian country. So we have to understand holding on to deen is a lot harder here than it is in some Muslim majority countries. If you've ever visited a Muslim majority country or you're from there, you understand, you've seen the difference. It is a whole world of difference. When there is Islam in the air, and here where there is Islamophobia in the air, right? So there's a big difference between the two of those. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who have taqwa. We ask Allah to make us of those on the right path, as-siratul mustaqim. We ask Allah to protect us from the punishment of the fire. We ask Allah to protect our family from the punishment of the fire. We ask Allah to help us to be in control of our nafs. We ask Allah to make us of those who are the salihin. We ask Allah to help those who are suffering in this world today, who have no water, who have no electricity, who have no food, who have no safety and no peace and no idea if they will survive the next day. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت اللهم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. أقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله هيا على الصلاة هيا على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الله أكبر.
الله الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. As you have seen, probably not in the news but on social media, today in Gaza they have shut off the internet. So there's no reports or image or videos coming out of Gaza, and Israeli are dropping a serious amount of bomb on them today. So there's a protest going on right now. I encourage everyone, every one of our brothers and sisters, not to be idle, to submit their petitions, write to the Congress, stand with the protest. This is not the time to remain idle. I encourage every brothers and sister to go out there and be a voice for our brothers and sisters out there in Palestine. Secondly, there will be a community meeting next Sunday. We will be reviewing our bylaws, our community's membership, and what our plans are going forward for the future. And thirdly, next Thursday, Brother Adeel will be hosting a halakha Thursday night. We'll be talking about jinn, witches, and what's the other one? Magic. So bring your children, especially right after Halloween. We want to discuss the Muslim perspective on that as well. And fourthly, the community, as you have seen, we have increased amount of programs and events in the community, and we rely on your support monetarily. We do want to increase the activities, especially for the youth in our community. We want to provide more programs and activities, inshallah, for the community. Jazakallah.
Oh, time. 6 o'clock for the.
Yeah.
It's a Maghrib.
Yeah,
Maghrib. Yeah.
After Maghrib.
After Maghrib. After
After iftar.
Okay, guys. He's picking up there, man.